Good morning, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just going to make sure my feed comes up here on my iPad. There it is. I can see it. Move my hand. Yay. I'm a couple of minutes. Actually, we're pretty well bang on 10 o'clock. So that's awesome. Good morning to everybody. I hope you're all doing well this morning. Good morning, Huguette. You popped up first. Welcome. This is Crafty Hour 39. I woke up this morning thinking I was doing 40, but I'm not. I am doing 40 as well, but today is 39. So we're working with the wonderful bee line that we had from 3/4 Design. Very, very pretty with all the die cuts and everything in this kit. It's an amazing kit. It was a little bit of a challenge. I think I said that in my homework. Hopefully you guys saw my homework video as well. I put it on Crafty Hour Creations. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for chiming in. So I did put it on that it was a little bit of a challenge only because we were restricted to one sheet of paper. And it wasn't like we had two sheets and Courtney and I could split them because of the pattern. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but we just communicated with each other. I said, I'm using this, and wait till you see her cards later. And I'll remind you about her live later on this afternoon. Her cards are amazing as usual. So it's kind of it's kind of fun to be able to, I was just saying to Stacy this morning, we are totally different, which is good. I'm a very clean, I don't do a lot of inking and mixed media things. And I love Courtney's, when I see the things that she does, I am just in awe of them. So I think that's awesome for you guys because you get sort of the basic kind of clean stuff that I like to do. And then you get to play and get inky and all that kind of fun stuff with Courtney. So that's the awesome part about our crafty hours. And then you get when Deanna does her stuff, again, totally different. So it's just awesome that we're able to kind of put our own take on the different products, and the kits that they are getting are just absolutely amazing. So I love to do it. Unfortunately for you people, you were stuck with me for the next two. I am doing the next one, which we still have available. That would be Crafty Hour 40, the big one. And then we also have Crafty Hour 41, which is going to be released tomorrow. And I will be doing that one as well. So it's I hope you won't get sick of me. I really do enjoy doing it, and I have a lot of fun, and I get a lot of wonderful comments when people come into the store as well, and I really do appreciate it. So that's great. We are sitting at an absolutely beautiful day here in Langley, BC. I hope all of you are enjoying some nice weather. We are, it's just beautiful. It's going to be beautiful for a next stretch. So that's kind of fun as well. It makes it a kind of more enjoyable, that's for sure. So we're going to get started pretty quick here, just because I want to make sure that we get through. I'm just doing 2 cards. I also have a inspiration card that I will show you that's kind of a different take on this wonderful little medallion die, and I have got the instructions for that, so you can always do that afterwards as well. But this was a very fun die. Or a very fun crafty hour. Just looking for my die. This was the die that, of course, all of you had. Mine, of course, looks like it's a jumbled mess at the moment. But it is really neat to be able to work with these little medallions. I didn't work with the other 3, but I did notice that if you go on Pinterest, I don't think it was Spellbinders' site. I'm pretty sure it was Pinterest. And you type in Spellbinders floral mini tiles die. I found quite a few inspirations from people as well. So you can always have a look at that afterwards too. And of course, always work with different colors and things too. We just give you a basic and then you can run with it. That's the fun part about Crafty Hour. Really gives you some great ideas, and then you can go ahead and play. I know a lot of you just watch it and then you watch it on replay later. That's awesome too, whatever you want to do. But this was a very unique set when you have the two pieces. So you have the background and then you also have the topper. And I call them medallions. I don't know why, they just kind of look like medallions to me. But of course we brought them in as sort of the hive or the bee's nest or whatever you want to call it for the bee theme. So it was really a neat thing, and to be this included in a kit, especially with the flowers and everything too, you're going to be able to use these over and over again. It's just fantastic. So why don't we get started? We'll get started on card 1. Just going to move this one out of the way. I'll move card 2 out of the way here. And we're going to, first of all, just do our background. So we'll cut our card. I'll hold this up a little bit so just so you get a little bit closer look at it too. I really loved working with the gold foil and behind. I just thought it really took to the background of this medallion too. It's so pretty. So anyways, I'm going to just stick this off to the side, make sure that I'm still in camera. I am. And we are going to cut our card base. And I have my little instruction sheet here so that I can put it here for you. Make sure I get it in camera as well. There we go. So we're going to cut our card base out of just the cards, the white cardstock. So just a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and we're going to cut our base. And I'll grab my handy dandy trimmer here. I'll just move the card off to the side for a sec, just while we cut the base. There we go. I'll move this over just a tiny bit. There we go. So we're going to cut it at 6 1/8 on the short side. So if you go to 6th and then just 1/8, just the next one in, not 6 1/4. So just between the two, and just cut your 6 1/8. There you go. And we are going to cut the long strip to 9 inches. So it's 11 inches right now. You're just going to cut it down to 9 to make it a little bit smaller card. There we go. And we're going to score it at 4.5 inches. So 4.5. This is why I love my Spellbinders trimmer, because here's my cutting blade up here, but here's my scoring blade all ready to go. And I just love that it's in here. I used to have to go digging for my extra little blade, and I don't need to do that anymore. So we're just going to fold that in half. There is our card base made. Okay, and we'll just stick that off to the side for a moment, and I'll get that out of the way. And then we are going to cut our pieces for the background. So when I say background, I mean these pieces here. Okay, so we are going to cut your patterned piece. Now, when I say pattern piece, I'm going to show you, because I happen to have one extra kit around here, so I can actually show you the paper, but I'm not going to cut it just in case we need it, because like I say, we only were given the one sheet to work with. So I don't want to ruin this left-hand side. The one that we are going to use in my card, if you can see it here, is this one with the honey pot, and it's got the bee on it, and that's the right-hand side of this card. Okay, so you should have this card in your kit. If you've got it, you can grab it. I would ask that you just use my the pattern pieces I'm going to use this morning. If you want to change it up and do a separate card afterwards, go for it. But I know Courtney is using 3, maybe even 4 of the background pieces. So if you want to duplicate her cards, you want to just make sure that you're not using one of the other patterns at this point. But you're going to be left with lots, and especially the die cuts. That's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to cut this piece here in half. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to show you. So if you take it here, what I would do actually is just cut it in the half. You can see the half of the 2 cards. That way you can stick your other piece aside and you won't even have to worry about it. We're not going to use it this morning. So it would be 3 3/4 is pretty well bang on maybe a tiny bit more, but if you cut it at 3 3/4, just in half here, so you go ahead and cut your 3 3/4. And then this piece here is 5 3/4. We are going to cut it to 5 1/2, but obviously you can cut it from the top because you don't care about losing a little bit of the pattern up here at the top. So you're just going to cut that piece to 5 1/2. So once you have this cut in half, you're going to cut it to 5 1/2. I'm going to grab actually just one of the other pieces. And I'll just do it as the background. So like I say, I don't know if Courtney's using this one, so just don't go ahead and do it. But so if I've cut my piece in half, like I was telling you, 3 3/4, and then I'm going to cut the top. And when I said the top, this is the actual piece you're working with. You're going to cut it up here to 5 1/2. So you're going to cut it to 5 1/2, and it really isn't that much coming off the topper, just a tiny little bit. So that is our background piece, and that would be this one for you. Okay, the honeybee. Everybody's following me? I just don't want to cut paper that we may be able to, have an extra kit if somebody needs one, or I'm not sure where this one even arrived from because I thought we were completely sold out. So anyways, there's your background. So where I say patterned piece, that's your pattern piece. Now we can set that aside. Now you can grab another scrap of your white cardstock, and we're gonna cut a piece of white cardstock to 3 7/8 to 5 5/8. So 3 7/8 is just 1/8 before the 4 inches. And by 5 5/8, and that's just 1/8 over the 5 1/2. Okay, so just like that. And if you know how I do my cards, I always like to have a tiny little base around the background. So that white is only forming a very tiny little base around our background piece, just like that. Okay, everybody's okay? Hope so. Okay, so now we're going to cut a piece of gold mirrored paper, which again just totally lended itself to the gold with the little medallions. So we're going to cut a piece of our gold mirrored paper, 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. So 4 1/8, I'll do it this way just because then it's normally 4 1/4. So 4 1/8. Stick that to the side. And 5 7/8, so just under the 6 inches. There we go. So now if you see our background for our card, we have got the patterned, the white that has a very tiny little border, and then the gold. And the gold, you can see, does have a little bit more of a border. I just wanted it to be stand out a little bit more when you saw your background of your card. So that's what that's doing there. Okay, so now we can go ahead and build our background. And what I did was I used foam squares between the patterned paper and the white. You can do it flat if you would rather, but I did use my foam squares to do that, or my foam tape, whatever you like to work with, either one. And we're just going to stick the pattern paper just like this. I'm just going to use 4 little guys right now. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so there's our pattern paper onto our white paper, so it just gives it that little bit of an extra lift. And then I put the 2 pieces that we've just done with the foam onto the gold, and I did it just flat, just because then I'm going to put it onto my card base, and I'd probably use either go flat or with foam tape, whatever you'd prefer. Either one will work, because don't forget we're going to put the little medallions on, and the medallions have foam tape on them as well. So, you know, it depends on how thick you want to have it. Maybe what I'll do right now is I'll just do them flat, but you are welcome to put foam tape between the 2 layers, whichever you'd prefer to do. Use my handy dandy little glue runner. So I'll just go flat onto my gold. And like I say, it does have a bigger border because it really does show up nicely. I love the mirrored paper from Hunky Dory. We use it all the time. And then again, go ahead and put this on either with your foam, or if you want to do it just flat, it's just going to make your background a little bit thinner, and then your little medallions will pop up a bit. So I think that's what I will do in this case, but you are welcome to use your foam tape or your foam squares as well. So this is how your background should look. Just stick this on here. There we go. So that's your background. And like I say, I just used one of the other ones just to be able to cut along with you and make sure you were going along. So there is our background. This is the actual card. Okay, so now we're going to build our medallions. Now, in the instruction video, I did talk about a product called Sticky Specs. And for this card, sticky specs are very, very invaluable. I also had my folio. Here's my little package. Hold on one second. Just have to find my medallions. They are here somewhere. I use the folio as well. So either one of them will work. I know we do have some sticky specs in store, I believe right now, and I'm not sure if Courtney does, but you can always check for sure. This is a product that I don't use a lot because I tend to use a lot of foam tape in behind my items. But when you're working with something like this, I just found that this just worked fantastic. So this was the cutting that I had asked you to do in homework. So these are my 4 little medallions. I don't know why I have more, but I have 4 little medallions, 4 bases, and the bases I did out of the mirrored. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I just did extras in case. And then our little flowers, and we'll get to the flowers in a second, but we can go ahead and build our little medallions first. So these are all my little flowers that I cut too. And if you haven't got that done yet, no worries. Like I say, go and check out the homework video just so you have an idea of how the little medallion things cut out. But you can do it anytime. It's not a problem at all. So sticky specs, this is the stuff that I was telling you about. So all I do is take my cardstock medallion that I have cut. I put it onto the sticky specs, just kind of rub it, open it up, and now the glue has transferred. It's just like kind of glue dots, but in a bigger sheet. So now the glue has transferred to my cardstock, and I'm just going to place it over top of my background. And it does have a little bit of give, which is kind of nice as well. So there's the first one. So we're going to do that with all 4. And if you're, like I say, if you're trying to do it with glue or foam tape or anything like that, it may take you a little bit more time. Not a problem. You at least get the gist of how this is being done. And all we're doing is we're just going to build these little guys and stick them onto the background. So even if you had, 1 done or 2 done, you could place it on and then decide where you're going to place your other ones afterwards. It's not a problem at all. But a lot of the designs I saw online too, you can make build it from here with the edges up against each other. It's really quite a unique die. It's really neat. And I love the one that looks like a teardrop in that as well. I'm excited to play around with that too, because I think you could get a really nice circle going with it too. Okay, so we've got all 4 of our little medallions done. One more. Oops, did that on the gold. That's why I cut extras. Okay, so there's our 4 medallions done with the glue on them. And the inspiration card that I'll show you at the end, I did a different little take on these, so I didn't use the sticky specks on it, and I'll show how that one worked as well. Okay, so there's our little medallion guys done. And that's forming the base, these guys here. All right, so now what we can do is do our little flowers. And what I did with the flowers was same thing. I had asked you to have, let me just check here what I have here for the, so we used just the large flower on card 1. We used the little guys on card 2. So the large flowers, so we have the large base that we did out of the metallic, and we have the large flower that we did out of the, oh, where's my white flowers? Did I not cut them? I don't think I cut them. I only cut, oh no, these are them. Yeah, I've got my other ones in card 2 out. Okay, so there's your large flower in the white and the large background in the gold. And all I did for these guys was just use my little foam squares and put a foam square underneath the white flower and stuck it onto the gold. I just thought it kind of looked nice to have that little bit of a lift. And they kind of match up. You just have to kind of, yeah, to figure out where the little dip is. But then it goes right in the center, just like that. Aren't those cute? And like I say, like we're using them on these today, but my goodness, like just having a whole little garden full of these guys, it's gonna be fantastic. Because it's so easy to do, especially if you're working with your little sidekick that I used the other day, or again, how excited is everybody for the new Scout that's coming out from Spellbinders? Same thing. So you've got, you don't have to necessarily have your whole big shot when you're doing these little guys. Just great. Okay, so again, there's all the little medallions. How are we doing for time? We're good. So the other one, I'm just gonna kind of show you. Again, I don't have the sheets, but I'll just show you how I went about doing it. And it is basically just glue together. It's a fun one as well. So pretty, the colors, and I love the pinks, and then I love the more of the bee look in it as well. Okay, so there's our 4 flowers done. And there's number 4. Everybody's okay, I hope. Just concentrating on getting your little flowers all built. Okay, so there's our flowers. And then all I did with these guys was I took them, and you can decide which way you want these to go. I don't think there's any kind of a right way. I kind of did it where I had the 2 little things facing each other in the center. That's kind of what formed my middle. And then that's where I put my flower on. So I just stuck it on there. Again, you can do it flat, or you can pop it up as well. So you would have the medallion, the little flower popped up, and then the medallion will go onto the card popped up as well. So I feel like I'm becoming Diana. See, so there we go. So there's our little flower inside the medallion piece. It's just so pretty. I just think they're so dainty, and they look great. So that's what we're doing with those guys. You're just going to put all 4 of them on. kind of finicky, but I don't do a lot of finicky little things. I'm not a fussy cutter at all. But I didn't find these too bad at all. I just think they're kind of, it's something different. It really gives a different look to a card. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and one more. That forms our little medallions. Foam tape behind that. And the one more. There's our 4 medallions that are going to form onto our background. Okay, so the only other thing I added were these tiny little stars, and I just thought these were so cute. Now you can put these on with either a piece of your foam strip, or you can put them on flat, whichever one you want to do. Today I'm going to just do them flat. I think I used a tiny little piece of foam strip in behind them when I did them, when I made my sample. But either one will work just fine for you. But I will just grab my glue and pop these guys on. And this one, as I showed in homework too, the nice thing about this one was it is, you cut all 8 of them at one time, and we only needed 8. We were doing 2 in each of the medallions. So you just take your medallion, and I'll just pop a tiny little bit of glue on here. And then I just stuck them down at the bottom of the medallion. I think as I show my sample here, I kind of had them, maybe my flower was up a little bit more, but it really doesn't matter. They can come off the bottom of the medallion as well. I feel like I'm saying medallion 500 times. Okay, so there's one, and then you're just gonna stick another one just down on the other side. So I just felt like it kind of filled in this little hole down here at the bottom, the little strip, and it was a way of bringing in. Now again, my thought afterwards was also you could cut these little star flowers and you could put those in the center of your big flower. That would be really pretty too. You could cut it out of gold or whatever, you know, color you wanted to use. But that's how they're gonna form. So they're just kind of embellishments that you're using down here at the bottom of your medallion. And they can, like I say, these ones that I'm doing right now, they've kind of come off a little bit off the bottom. If you move your flower up a little bit more, then they can be right underneath the flower. Either way, it's just a really pretty little embellishment. So you can do all 4 of those guys. And I'm just going to I think I'll do one more, and then we'll just place them because, like I say, it's the same technique for all 4. And they are kind of finicky to play around with. So then just take your little star flower, put it down at the bottom. Yeah, so pretty. I just think these will be, you know, the thing about these dies and embossing folders that Courtney and Diana include in all of these kits is they are just so, like, I use them all the time. I'll use them for so many other cards and that I'm doing now. It's not like it's a one-off and you go, oh, you know, I bought that kit, but, you know, I made my B cards, so I don't really need to use it again. You can use these flowers and the embossing folders and that over and over and over again, these little medallions for sure. Okay, so this is how they're gonna go. So with your little flowers on them as well. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and place them, because that way we're not spending a lot of time doing the little star flowers. So and again, this is entirely up to you where you want to put them onto your base. The way I did it is I put it up here. I started up at the top of my card. Again, different pattern paper, right? I'm just using this to be able to show you. So I started up near the top, and then what I did was I just kind of formed my, I always think of it as like a little hive. And I kind of brought this one down here like this, and then I took my next one and I built it beside it. So just like that. And then I ended up putting this one down here. Now you could bring these down a little bit if you don't want to have it quite so crowded up at the top. Bring it down a bit, just like that, because you want to save space. When I did the sample card, to put your sentiment. And the sentiments, again, awesome, on these little sheets. So these ones here were Happy Bee Day. Where's my Happy Bee Day on these? Just so cool, because you can use your own sentiment, or you can cut out one of these guys. But I just used the one that says, I don't know why it's not on this kit. Must be on another sheet somewhere and I'm just missing it. Maybe it was one on one of the bigger sheets. But I just cut out the word Happy Bee Day, and I just matted it in some gold, so a very narrow gold border around the outside, and then put it onto the card with foam tape. So again, you don't need to, if you don't want to build it up, if you would prefer to have it more flat, if you're going to think about mailing them and you don't want to have, you know, quite so much foam, doesn't matter, you can use whatever you want. But I just thought that this was so cool, the way that it kind of just formed the little hive as you went along. So decide, what I would suggest is decide where you're going to put your first one, and then build around it, and leave a tiny little bit of a border around the outside so you can see the beautiful patterned papers in behind it as well. So I just think, yeah, I just thought it was a really, really neat way of using this little medallion, but having it kind of really look like the hive itself. So you're just going to build it and put it exactly where you would like. If you would rather have them down one side and have a sentiment off to the side, you can totally do that as well. But it was a very neat way of being able to play around with this, plus use the gorgeous colors in the kit. Everybody okay with that one? That one looks okay. Like I say, I'm not going to stick this down, but I thought, well, at least it gives you an idea of my plan, how I went ahead and did it. But you go ahead and place them. If you want to make a couple more medallions and put a couple more on, totally do that as well. It's just a great way of being able to play around with that card. Okay, so let's stick that one to the side. If anybody has questions, you know, you can always ask. But yeah, that was a very fun way to work with that. All right, we're going to move this stuff out of here, this out of here, and we're going to bring in this beautiful pink card that I just absolutely love. Get rid of this little rogue flower. There we go. Okay, so our second card that we're going to work with, oh, we're doing great for time. That's awesome. Okay, so the second card we're going to work with was this beautiful pink, and I wanted to incorporate one of the die cuts that you have as well in your kit. This kit, as far as the die cuts go, amazing. Okay, so look at all of the different ones. You can, there's so many little bees, the beautiful baskets and flowers. So you can play and play and play and add those to different cards and whatever as well. So it's, yeah, it was fantastic. So let's go ahead and work on this card. Okay, so we are going to, the card base, again, I'm just going to show you because I only had the one in the kit. So this card base has this wicker basket down in the corner of this piece, and then it also has the basket in the corner of this piece. This is the side we're going to be working on. Okay, so this one we won't be using. We're just going to use this side here. So what my suggestion is, if you want to go ahead and just cut that in half, I'm sure it probably cuts in half at about Yeah, it's about 3 7/8, but you can see the border of the print on your card base. Just cut it in half. That way you can stick the other side, the other piece here, this other beautiful basket, because you can do the same thing for another card. Or I'm not, like I say, I'm not sure if Courtney maybe is using it as well. So just leave that one to the side, that other pink. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and cut our, let's do our base for this card. And this base, I'm not sure where that went. Okay, so let's grab a piece of white cardstock to do our base. Okay, and our base is going to be 7 inches. So this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So we're going to cut this piece here to 7 inches. I don't know where my little cheat sheet is that I usually stick up there for. Oh, it's right here. There we go. Knew I had it. Okay, so yes, so 7 inches. I'll put this over here so you've got that as well. And then we're going to cut this down to 10 inches. So it's going to be a 5 by 7 card. So 10 inches, we're just taking an inch off. And we're going to score it at 5 inches. Okay, and there is our base. All right. So I'll move that off to the side. Now we're going to do our background pieces. Okay, so our background pieces, grab another sheet or another piece of your white cardstock. And we're going to cut a piece of white cardstock 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. So that's just over the half mark. Okay, so 4 5/8. So 4 1/2, and then just go one more. And 6 5/8. So again, just 1 over the 6 1/2. And what that's going to do, that's going to be our background piece for this one. Okay, and then again, grab a sheet of your mirrored gold cardstock. And we're going to cut a piece at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So I know you're all familiar with 4 3/4. Not quite 5. And 6 3/4. Okay, and that is going to be on the outside of that white. Okay, so this is how our background, where's my card? I tell you, I move things and then I can't find my things. There it is. Yay. Okay, so this is our background. So we've got the gold, we have the white, and then we have our embossed piece that I had asked everybody to do in homework. And it was to be cut down to, I think it was 4 3/4. Where is it? Homework 1, homework 2, 4 3/4 or 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. Okay, because the reason behind that is then it fits perfectly on top of our white cardstock. Okay, so we've got our embossed piece that you did in homework. We've got a tiny little border of white. You can eliminate that. If you don't want to bother with that, you can go ahead and do that, eliminate it. I always like to have a tiny little border before I put it onto my gold. And then this is going to go on to our card base, just like that. Okay, so we can go ahead and build that. I usually will use my foam tape in behind my embossing folder, but you can put it on flat. If you want to use your glue or your glue runner, you can go ahead and do that. Totally up to you. Let's put some of these little guys on it, just as a bit easier. There we go. Okay, so we are going to take our embossed piece, put it onto our white piece. Okay, so again, it's just got a tiny little border. And that again is just me. If you want to eliminate that, you totally can. Okay, so we've got the white embossed onto the white cardstock, and now this is going to go onto the gold, and I would just put that on flat. So just with your tape runner or whatever you want to use it. Get rid of these guys. We'll have a bit of a border around the outside again so we can see that beautiful gold through. There we go. So we've got the white on the white and then onto the gold. And then this is going to go onto our card base. And again, I would just do this flat. If you wanted to pop it up with your foam tape, you totally could. So that is our beautiful card base. And I use the Floral and Vine, I believe it is called, from Spellbinders as my embossing folder. One that I use between that and Flower Frenzy. I use the two of them all the time. I just think it's got a very nice pattern on the background. So anyways, there is our card base. So that's done. So now we're going to build our topper. And our little topper sheet. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I've already got on here when I'm talking about cutting the pink card in half. Okay, so we're going to cut, I really didn't want to do with this, but, oh, maybe I'll use the other side. Maybe Courtney isn't using the other side of this one. So I'll use the other side just so I can go along, cut along with you, okay? But the one that you were looking at is the opposite side of this one. This is the one that you were playing with. It's got the beautiful flowers all along the bottom and then the basket in the corner, okay? So we're going to cut it in half. So if you have your dimensions, what do we have this at? I believe it's 6 inches. Not quite. Let me just see where I cut this one. And then we're just going to mat it. I had a ruler here. Okay, so we're going to cut 3.5. Oh, I see. Okay, the cut is what I was talking about when we were going to cut that pattern on half. Okay, so we're going to cut this to 3.5. Okay, so 3.5 inches, just above the basket. Obviously, that's where you're going to want to cut so that you've got the basket down there. So 3.5 and 3 1/4 this way. Now, when I'm saying 3 1/4, I cut it on the basket side. so that, because we were going to put this die cut basket over top anyways, and I wanted to have more of my little flowers over here to the right. Okay, so if you want to cut it to 3.5, oh, it's 3 1/4 this way. Yes, sorry, 3 1/4 this one. Take off another 1/4 inch. We don't need that much of it. Yeah, there we go. So 3 1/4. Okay, so 3 1/4 this way, and then we're going to do it 3.5 inches. I even put arrows there for you. 3.5 inches, but we're going to cut it on this basket side. That way, because like I say, we're going to put the basket over top anyways, and that way you'll see more of these beautiful flowers over here. Really doesn't matter that much. You're going to see a lot of it anyways. And hold on to this scrap as well, because this scrap is going to go in behind afterwards. So just set it aside for now, okay? So we'll stick that off to the side. So that's your topper done. Okay, and now we're going to just mat our topper. So we're going to cut, here we go, next piece. So we're going to cut a piece of white cardstock. This is what's going to mat this, which is our little topper piece. Grab another scrap of white cardstock if you've got a scrap or another sheet. And we're going to cut a piece 3 5/8 by 3 3/8. So 3 5/8 by 3 3/8. And 3 3/8 is just under the half. Okay, so that's just forming a very small white border around that piece that we have cut. Everybody's okay? Everybody's following around? Aren't the colors beautiful, Joanne? I just love them. Okay, so that's that. And we're going to cut a small square of the gold mirrored as well to go along our topper. And it's 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. 3/4 by 3 1/2. And that forms a little bit bigger. Oh, no, pretty well. I kept it quite narrow. So we pretty well have, so we have the pattern, beautiful pattern onto the white and then onto the gold. Okay, and I did foam tape in behind my pattern. So we got foam tape. Onto the white. And then I went onto the gold flat because I'm going to pop up the whole piece onto my card base. So patterned onto white with foam tape and then onto the gold just flat. Yeah, just gorgeous colors. I just love this this pink. It's just, it's amazing. And this was a very, very popular kit. And like I say, just wait to see what Courtney's gonna do later on today. Very cool. Okay, so that is our topper. There we go. Very cool. Okay, so now what I did to put this on, obviously I don't have the same die cut because we only had one of them, but there's a whole ton of different baskets. I mean, look at the one even on this sheet here, which is just incredible. This would be a gorgeous basket on it as well. So whatever you wanted to do, you can pick whichever basket you want to do. I believe the one I used, because I see it's missing on here, is the one that's beside this vase. I'm pretty sure this was it here. But like I say, flip through because there's just so many beautiful ones. You're just going to stick a nice die cut over there to the left. That's what's going to form your piece here on the topper. And then we're going to add the little flowers. So we did the little flowers. We did them already, so we don't need to do them again. But What I did for the flowers on this one is I did not use foam tape in between the white and the gold. These were one large flower and two small flowers. So that's what I used on this. But I just stuck the white flowers onto the gold flat, and then I built them up with foam tape. So this gold flower here, the big one at the back, I stuck on flat. I didn't use any foam tape. This one here, I used a little bit of foam tape, and this one I used double. So just so I could get a layer of having the three of them. They could all be flat or they could all be popped up. Whatever you'd prefer to do, that's entirely fine. So anyway, so we've got the gold flower. So we've got these great flowers here. This sentiment here is a Hero Art set that I use on a regular basis because it's a stamp and die set. So it stamps it and then it cuts it out. So I use that a lot, but use whichever sentiment you want to, or you can go back to the sheets that we had as well that also had some other words on it that you can always add a sentiment out of the kit too on there. And then I chose one of the bees. Again, there is a ton of little bees that you can decide which one you wanted to use. I just thought this one was good because he was kind of going upwards, but you can add whichever one, or don't put a bee on at all if you don't want to. That's totally fine too. Okay, so that kind of is what you would finish off your topper with. But what I did for putting it onto a card is I put it on, so what I did was this scrap piece that we had left over. I thought, well, we don't want to just get rid of that. So I liked the wording, so I used the wording part of it. And all I did was I stuck it on the card, not too high up, but partway down. And I just glued it flat onto the card. Okay, so just like that. And then I attached my, oh no, I did the gold strip first. So if you've got a scrap piece of your gold mirrored paper, all I did was cut probably about 1/4 inch. And I did it quite long, just so I had a little bit of I wanted it to come out both sides. So yeah, about 1/4 inch. Just cut a strip of the gold mirrored. And then you can decide however you want to do it. I would probably do it at about, what's that there? Probably about 5.5 inches. So all I did with that is I just glued it flat onto my card like this. And then my completed topper went on top of that with foam tape. But I just thought that just gave it a little bit. This one obviously is a little bit longer than my finished card. There's my finished card. But you can, you know, you can cut it to whatever size you want. You could add a little embellishment down here too if you wanted to. The gold gems that I used on a lot of my cards, and I use them all the time, are the Spellbinders fashion gold gems because they come in different sizes. I really like those. So that's what I used in the center of my flowers, and I'm using them in the next Crafty Hour kit as well. Or Diana did show these, and I'm not sure, some of you probably had bought them. I haven't got any more in stock, so I didn't know exactly where they came from. She just gave me these ones to play with, but they were the ones that I used in our first card today. They were the centers of our hives here, and they came in the bigger size and then the tiny little dots. You could do this with stickles, you could do this with rhinestones, you could do it with whatever you wanted to. But if any of you had purchased these guys a while ago when Deanna showed them, you may want to add those little gold gems to the center of the flowers here, or also in the center of the first flowers that we did. So those are the two cards that I worked with. They weren't, you know, super complicated at all. They were actually pretty quick. It's just more time-wise, getting the little medallions all cut and that sort of thing as well. So that was card number 2. And so I have that one done. And then I also did, as I said, a little inspiration card. And this one I will post the instructions for so you can see it too. This one I just was so happy with. So, and again, it's going to take some time, but here are the medallions that I cut in this one. So I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. This one is just, it just blew me away. I just thought it was so pretty and I used the inside. This was also one of the dies. It was like a little egg shaped. Here's my die right here. It was these guys here, this little egg shaped die. And I cut it out as well and stuck it into the center of these flowers. So they were more like, more of an oblong kind of shape. Are there any in stock? Did you mean the gold gems, Sandy? I don't think we have any in stock right now, but I'm sure we will get more of them in for sure. So I did this one with navy. I just thought it turned out so nice. And again, just an embossed background, matted. But this one here, I used foam tape in between the top layer and the second layer and then put them onto the card with foam tape. So where I used the sticky specks to put them flat onto the back of our card that we worked with today, I used foam tape. And the only thing you want to be sure of is probably using the strips and kind of hiding it. So if you can hide it in behind sort of the big panels, because you don't want to see the foam tape obviously in the little windows. So you just have to be creative. You can put it obviously in behind where the flower goes. So that one is totally fine. So again, it's going to take some time. You have to cut the silver flowers, the white flowers, the centers. I added a tiny little gem just into the one in the center. I was going to do all of them, and then I thought it was probably going to be a little bit much, so I did that. But again, fun way of using that medallion. And I just thought the navy and white was a real classic. And I did, was out with a couple of friends last weekend, and I did a little gifty thing for them. And I decided I would just do a little gift card to give them. And so it was just one medallion with the little flower on it. And like, what a cute little way of just adding something to a little gift or whatever you want to do. So that one is, like I say, an inspiration card. And I will post the instructions on what I used for the embossing folder and the dimensions for that one as well. So that gives you an extra look at how you can work. And again, go on, I'm pretty sure it was Pinterest that I was on, typed in the name of this die set, this floral mini tiles from, I put in Spellbinders Die of the Month. And there were some other ideas. Some of them were gorgeous. They had like a whole bunch of different colors, rainbow colors, working with them and that as well. So yeah, fantastic. So a couple of announcements before we close off. We're just about bang on our 11 o'clock. I don't like to do too much because I know you had a lot of homework as well. So a couple of announcements. We still have some of the number 40 left. And number 40, this one coming up is an amazing kit as well. It comes with this awesome embossing folder. I don't know how well it's going to show up. Oh, there we go. It shows up better on that. So awesome embossing folder. And then it has the die, has a whole bunch of paper die cuts and cards and pattern paper. We still have some of these available, not a lot, but there are still a few left. And I'm not sure if Courtney does or not, but you can check definitely with her store as well. But we do still have a few, and it is, like I say, an amazing kit. So get on that one if you'd like. It is May the 23rd, 2 weeks today, and I will be doing that one as well with you, which I'm excited about. So don't forget, Courtney today is at 5 p.m. Pacific time with another awesome crafty hour. Like I say, her take on these dies is absolutely incredible. So have a look at that. That one will be today at 5 o'clock. Make sure you join Crafty Hour. I know a ton of you have, and we really appreciate that, because then we can put in announcements, or like I said, the homework video that I put on there too. That one was, it was just a way of being able to tell you how to cut that medallion. So that's a great community to be able to add things to. And I know a lot of you have joined it already, and post your creations too. That would be fantastic. Definitely watch on replay too, no problem, because like I say, that's the nice thing about Crafty Hour. You don't have to do it at the time. You can do it whenever you'd like. Our next Crafty Hour I just showed you is on May 23rd, and that's number 40. And then our new reveal, number 41, will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. That one is very cool as well. I'm excited about it, and I will be doing that one with you as well. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, always reach out to me, and I hope that you play along, and that you also come up with your own creations with these beautiful products that Deanna and Courtney have been able to put together for us. And we'll keep doing it as long as you guys love it. So we appreciate it. Anyways, have a great day. I hope your sunshine is shining like it is here. It's gorgeous. And we will talk to you again real soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day.